The Nintendo Wii. Okay, you already know what this is, because why else would you have clicked on this video? About 12 years ago, I was introduced to the world of the Wii, and my family just kept buying whatever interesting game was on the shelf at Walmart. But it's the games I still play today that make it a beloved console of mine, and I poured my heart and soul into these games, 100%ing file after file, or almost getting there.
And playing the Wii Fit balance board to death. Quite literally.
But what happened recently will be the most soul-crushing thing I've had to have witnessed the past couple of years.
So what happened? Did it break or something? Yes, but probably the worst way to experience it possible.
Now I could complain if it was along the lines of someone knocking it over or something to that effect, but I wouldn't have made a video on it if that were true.
So what happened then?
Well, this journey of defeat was half a year long, so grab some popcorn. According to my recordings via game capture card, the last thing I played was newer Super Mario Bros. Wii on July 2021.
And I'm sure someone watching this might already know where this is going.
Next day, I booted up my Wii, it turned on, but there was no picture nor audio. I thought to myself,
surely this is a recurring issue, right?
And it is.
The Wii is what is termed as bricked, and it means that it has a signal error when trying to connect to the monitor.
Apparently it's a consistent issue with the homebrew channel, which should have been made clear when I was downloading it to begin with. Anyways, there was a preventative called Boot Me,
but it only works before the issue begins.
Luckily, a failsafe procedure exists called Preloader, but there's mixed results.
Eager to try, I bought this 2GB SD card for $16. You did not hear that wrong.
And tried to run Preloader, but the Wii failed to boot that too.
Well, that was a waste of 16 bucks.
When I read some more forum posts, I hoped it was really a change of batteries. Soon I learned that it was not the problem, and I now have 2 extra watch batteries. Cool.
Also, what are you useful for anyway? Backup power for when blackouts happen? Because I've never seen that ever happen.
I know that this would be funny, but I will laugh. Oh, what happened? What?
And I bought both of those batteries for $14. And I could have spent that much money on a $160 gigabyte flash drive from Meyer. I am not making that up.
Anyway, I tried to return to Repairman Online and grew interested in a listing for $50 on Etsy. Yeah, that surprised me too. At the time of me looking at options. That seemed to be the most promising, so I went with that one.
The seller got back to me fairly quickly, and we discussed the situation. Then I proceeded to ship the Wii to him, and it somehow traveled across the US in a single day.
I didn't even use express shipping.
Upon its record time arrival, he looked at it and determined the issue. The good news was he knows what the issue is. The video chip reader is broken. Okay, easy fix, right? Well, that's the bad news.
You see, the chip is surface mounted onto the motherboard, which means the video chip is stuck to the motherboard, acting as if it's part of it.
Now, I would have asked about swapping the memory data, which is the whole reason why I'm doing all of this, for another Wii's.
There were 2 reasons why that was not possible. The first is that the memory chip is also surface mounted, believe it or not, and apparently the ID that goes onto your Wii has to match with the memory chip that it is applied to, meaning that if you put the memory chip into another Wii anyways, there is a likely chance that the data will be corrupted because it does not correlate with the ID on the Wii.
Since there was nothing the guy could do, he sent the Wii back with no extra charge.
And if he happens to be seeing this, hi Greg. Thanks for the gift.
So, the Wii's out in my room for a couple more months as I searched for another option, now with the criteria of surface mount operations. After emailing several people, I kid you not, I encountered a Wii repair video concerning the surface mount.
It was concerning missing buttons on the Wii's interface, but it's still the thing I'm looking for.
I emailed the team and they said they'd take a look at it, and this is where trouble ensues.
And to avoid repetitively calling them the repair team or whatever to hide their identity for the sake of preventing people from harassing them, I'm gonna just take a random image on my phone, and then whatever comes to it is going to be the name of the team from this point on. Evangelion. Now let's put things into perspective date-wise. The first issue came up in July of 2021. I was able to have the transaction between the Etsy seller and myself with my Wii in September. And then I finally found these people, and the Wii was delivered to them on December 3rd.
Now, the logical step would be to wait for a phone call or email, especially when they had my information. So after a steady silence for a week, I called and asked for an update, and on 3 separate calls, on 3 separate dates, they replied with,
"We'll get back to you soon. Just please stand by. We'll also put you on priority, so we'll get to you sooner." Although the third one had to say that it was on holiday because it was December 26th. Okay. Wait a minute.
I called for another checkup because no one got back to me, and I asked if they even got to my Wii yet. The response killed me.
"I see it has been delivered to us, but we can't currently locate it." Can you hold on for a second, sir? For real?
So after giving as much information as I possibly can, such as that it was addressed to the repair shop, with a ticket that says it goes to the repairs in the box, addressed to the specific person I talked to initially, the Wii's physical condition, and they still couldn't find it. And what they told me about a possible worst case scenario devastated me. Oh boy. So not only does Evangelion repair consoles, they sell them too. Used of course, but still. They have a collective inventory of stock, and protocol says that upon receiving a console for sale, they completely wipe the memory of which I specifically specified was the reason why this Wii was there in the first place, and I said that with every interaction I've had with them since. But they still can't locate it, so there's still hope?
Even with all the information I could give them about the Wii's condition by the time I sent it to them, the only way to know which one could possibly be mine is with its serial number. Perfect. That is the holy grail, right? Right? No. I never bothered to write it down. In a moment of vulnerability, they offered to have a replacement for the Wii for the trouble. Although it was nice, there was really no use to it, unfortunately. Because, really, the whole purpose of me sending it in was the memory.
You can't replace 12 years of memories, childhood memories nonetheless. Literally 1,000 unique Miis in the Mii Parade, archived Mario Kart Wii Ghost data, Wii Fit Plus data, downloadable content from the Wii shop that can't be downloaded again because, you know.
And all of that was lost because of a mail issue. A stinking mail issue.
There was no hope in sight, nothing I can do about it but reluctantly acquire the free Wii. But I felt unwilling to play it if it ever came. That it would sit on a shelf as a trophy of shame and misery that the Postal Service, and I, and potentially Evangelion, brought upon myself. Was this the end of the journey? No. No, even though I didn't bother to write the serial number down beforehand, because I never considered why I would ever need it. I actually did. But in the most ridiculous Deus Ex Machina possible.
And it's all because of this 2GB SD card. Yes, I am serious. It became the most valuable thing in a matter of 10 seconds.
You see, Preloader can only access the Wii by the data's value, which is the serial number. So to use Preloader, it requires me to put in the serial number manually.
So that technically means I have it on my computer. Somewhere.
So I tried to find the file that could potentially have the serial number stored, and started looking, found it, but as someone with zero coding knowledge, it was hard looking through jumbled code of an ELF file on a notepad. But I did get a kick out of it.
I will create new first child. I will create new sibling.
Hoping someone can debug it for me instead of me reading it, I went to the official BootMe website and tried to get the contact email, which no longer works.
Dang it!
I also tried reaching out to Greg to see if he could possibly have my Wii serial number by chance. No luck there.
Dang it!
I then desperately searched for any contact info of any BootMe dev, but all the devs have incredibly generic names.
Dang it!
So, I'm at a brick wall, right? Well, I took the issue to Reddit to see if someone could possibly debug it there. No response.
Thanks, Internet.
So I tried sifting through the code again, instead now using Control F and potential keywords that might aid me in my search.
I was still discouraged to actually read the entire thing. I mean, look at this.
I took a shower that morning, reminiscing about the Wii, thinking about looking at the remaining images and videos I had left of it, whether on my phone or Twitter. Then it hit me.
I recorded myself doing that.
Well, when I tried using Preloader, I recorded myself doing the procedure to make sure that if I made an oopsie, I could pinpoint what I did wrong. But when I came out of the shower, I realized I may have deleted it because I didn't think it was worth keeping. But I had no clue where to find it. I started with the screen recorder itself because it typically saves the file data from the last recording, so maybe it would at least have the file name to go off of. And I was right, but the file destination led to documents, which slightly worried me.
The thing about this screen recorder is that if a removable device was the destination of the last recording, and it isn't connected when the recorder is launched again, the Documents folder is the default destination, which means it was on one of my external drives.
And I started with the drive I use with my laptop the most.
So I put the name of the file in the search bar for the File Explorer, and
I had it. It wasn't deleted. I finally found it! I looked through the footage and found the number, and I was excited to call Evangelion. So, the next day, I called and gave them the number, and they began one final search.
Hey, are you still with us?
Yeah, I am.
So, we have been looking with the serial number you gave us, and we still can't find it.
The journey has concluded. There is no use in looking anymore. Evangelion has my Wii somewhere in a warehouse, and nobody knows where. It was a sad ending indeed, and I had to learn that it was okay. They offered to have my Wii replaced, and it arrived that Friday. And, first of all, the smaller door seems to be broken, and part of the hinge is actually stuck in there? What? And it was covered in grime and scratches. I'm definitely sure my Wii did not have scratches. Maybe some grime, but it was sticky.
we were so close.
To somehow make this alright, Craig not only did Wii repairs, he did cleanups too. So I thought that all I have to do is go to the listing and, oh, it's gone? So I DM'd him and he responded.
But at this point, I kind of poured enough time and effort into my Wii that I do not think it would be worth having to spend $50 just to have it cleaned up. However, I did recommend some friends of mine to do the same since I already got his attention, so they went ahead and did it because, well, their Wii is probably just as old as mine and probably needed a better cleanup than mine could ever offer. At least the old one. Although I have this Wii, I will still miss my old one. There's quite a few things I will never be able to replace, even if my memory somehow serves well. However, I did find something interesting when cleaning out my room at one point. Now you may be thinking, what is the significance of these two panels? Before I shipped my Wii over to Evangelion, for whatever reason, I took these off. Probably to preserve the fact that, well, they were doors, they probably would have opened in the package and got damaged or something. So, the entire time my Wii was out and about around the country, these never made it anywhere. And also, not only that, do you remember the 2 watch batteries I discussed earlier? Well, apparently, I never gave them the watch battery that came with my Wii.
I stuck the GameCube controller panels into the Wii, and they surprisingly fit better than the ones the Wii came in with.
Okay, so I was getting footage for this, and for some reason, no matter how many times I screwed this, I cannot get the screw to come out for the life of me, or let alone turn it. I have no idea why. So, even though I do not have my Wii entirely, I actually was able to have part of it on my Wii as kind of a reminder that even though that my Wii is not physically with me, I can still pretend that it's here with me. Well, what am I going to do with this Wii? Am I going to play it? I mean, most definitely, why else would I buy it? I mean, I better get my money's worth out of that. So, I'm going to just remake as much data as I possibly can. Now, there is no possible way I can remember all 1,000 Miis, especially when there's quite a few of them. Most of them didn't really have any sentimental attachment to me specifically because they were just some randos on the internet. Nor can I replace any of the stats from Wii Fit or anything regarding the Wii Shop channel. But I plan to recreate as many Wiis as I possibly can serve to memory, and over time 100%ing every single physical game I still have.
But little did I know, this adventure was going to get a whole lot worse. fast forward a few months, and I have hopefully improved on video making. That does not excuse why we are here again. Now, the reason why it happened 4 months after the whole shebang in December is mainly because I did not actually play it until June. So what actually happened was that I was going to record some footage in early June so that I can start working on some videos that I was going to advertise in the end card, but unfortunately, shenanigans happened. Alright, do you see this Wii here? The Wii that they returned to me because they were nice enough to. It's a dud. Now, when I say dud, I don't necessarily mean that it's terrible. I'm not saying that it is a piece of trash. It's fine and working and everything. It's just, there's one small problem that is going to annoy me the rest of my life if I decide to keep this. The video card must be dirty. Or something. I don't know. Since the issue came up when I started recording for a series that I was going to do, which was me 100%ing the entirety of my Wii collection, which is not really that bad in hindsight, but the issue here is that there are pixels that come up from nowhere that are not supposed to be in the game. Now, I know I only played 2 games up until I really noticed it, but as far as I can tell, it's really more of an inconvenience than anything. But not for me. I'm a bit different. What I mean by that is that when I notice something in particular on my screen, and I know it's going to come up again, I will not unnotice it. Yes, I am one of those people. So, me trying to sit through a game upon realizing I'm going to be playing other games with this exact issue, there is no way I'll not be suffering from this. Now, upon initially noticing this, I thought it had something to do with the Wii software updates. From 2008 to 2010, Nintendo released several software updates for the Nintendo Wii in regards to game performance, particularly in the visual department. At the time of me thinking this, I only had one idea of how people can erase data off of the Nintendo Wii, which is to put it in a sort of microwave that only erases data on the Wii, such as cache and all of your game progress and everything, while not actually damaging all of the hardware itself. With that in mind, I thought that if they somehow did that with the Wii, it might have erased the updates as well. Probably so. But little did I know that there was actually a much simpler solution to that, and that's literally reformatting the entire console. So what ended up happening was that I decided to try and update the system. I connected it to my internet connection, and then I tried connecting it to the internet, and then when it was about to download the updates, an error occurs. Upon receiving the error code, I decided to finally look it up online just to see if my brain is not going crazy again. Now, likely possibilities of why it did not connect to the internet was because the internet connection was poor, which I knew for a fact was not correct. Or maybe the Wii was soft-modded and the soft mod is preventing the Wii from updating. Which is weird. Why would Evangelion give me a hacked Wii? So I decided to check which version of the Wii I am using, and of course, it was updated. This already implies a few things already. For one thing, it is probably because that it was a bootleg. The second one is that they actually gave me a poor conditioned Wii. And thirdly, I have a thirdly in mind, but I cannot remember that now. Now, to make sure that I was not going cuckoo crazy, I decided to compare it to the Family Edition Wii, which I knew was probably going to be the most updated software I can get my hands on. So I decided to play a few of the games that I had just to compare the footage, and wouldn't you know, it was not a thing. Now, it came down to a couple of possibilities. One is that it could be a bootleg, because the fan was incredibly loud for some unknown reason, or it was just poorly damaged. I mean, the door broke as I was taking it out of the package, so there's a good chance it could be either a poor condition Wii or a bootleg. And even then, these doors that the Wii came in, they're not official Wii panels. Upon comparing this bad Wii to this model Wii, I felt it was a little bit unfair to compare two separate models that, one of them did not have GameCube compatibility, and the second one, it's not even the same model. So I decided to call in some friends of mine to see if they would let me borrow their Wii. And upon that inspection, yeah,
it probably is more of a bootleg than I think. Now, I have been verified that this may be a dud, but one of the main comparisons is that this Wii still had all of the weird blemishes that I've been talking about, whereas my friend's Wii did not have those blemishes. Another interesting comparison I've had is when comparing the GameCube game footage. I can't really describe it without you seeing it for yourself because I don't think footage can do justice. The footage I took for both the Wiis on the GameCube were actually pretty okay. It actually gave out standard GameCube outputs. So, I do not know what to make out for it. And the only difference is that the GameCube functionality on here, in terms of visuals, was a slightly bit grainier than on my friend's Wii. But the only issue with that is that I can't really demonstrate that on the computer because the footage looks exactly the same, unfortunately.
Alright, side note, for the next few minutes here, I was rambling on about how this Wii actually was a bootleg rather than an actual refurbished Wii, but it was mainly because on the Wii channel, it did not have the connection to the DS or the mingle ability on your Miis for some unknown reason, so that gave me the idea that it was actually a bootleg, but when I got my refurbished Wii replacement, it actually also had the exact same features missing from the Mii channel. If anybody can explain to me why that is, that would be incredibly helpful, because I have no idea why that is.
So I don't have any justification to keep this Wii any longer, since I'm not gonna get a lot back on Facebook or whatever. Okay, I'm probably gonna just gift to Facebook with a bunch of games that I don't really care owning anymore. And what ended up happening is that I got a new Wii. Now, unfortunately for me, it ended up being black. I would have preferred white, but I have a Wii. At this point, I could care less what it looked like. I wouldn't have cared if it was the Super Mario edition. I really could care less if it was even the Golden edition. I just wanted a Wii with GameCube panels, functionality, whatever, so that I can still play my GameCube games without investing in the GameCube system. Even though I have those preferences, I still tested the system and it does not have those weird blemishes, and it also is to my satisfactory that, well, it is here. I have it, and it is in good condition, and I'm gonna just be grateful that I actually have a Wii that is to my satisfaction, and of which I'm going to be using for all of my Wii recordings, and I'm still gonna do the 100% thing. I'm gonna be trying to get everything on my Wii to 100% because I'm a completionist. But am I going to record everything? No. Before I get into the reasons why I say that, I actually wanted to try and get some sort of profit off of the broken Wii, so I decided to contact Evangelion to see what they would do. My only frustration is that, because I didn't purchase anything, they can't really give me a refund on anything. The most they could have done was give me another Wii, but considering that I don't trust them at this point with any console for that matter, I might as well have just left them there. Which is exactly what I did. Now, to answer the question of what I'm going to be doing with this Wii, I might as well now address the end card of this video. Originally, I was going to make an entirely new channel dedicated to video games, of which I was going to document my entire journey of 100%ing all of my Wii games, as well as also trying to do a very ambitious project where I was going to do various retrospectives, of which may or may not be seeing the light of day. Now, to fully comprehend what I'm talking about is that there's several points where I was either going to delay the retrospective series or maybe just live stream everything and just make small highlights of me doing the 100% series, but I decided not to. Now, this might also hurt the people that have been subscribed to this channel because I have hardly done anything outside of what I usually do. So, here's the rundown of what the future of this channel is going to hold. I don't know. What I mean by that is that I'm gonna just hold production on anything. Me being on YouTube as a creator has kind of left a bad impression on me. And by that, I feel like I've always been obligated to post something constantly, and I do not want to live under that fear, especially when I know YouTube as a career is not going to be beneficial for me. I've actually off-putted this part of the video a few weeks for now, just for recording alone.
and it's mainly because I was not motivated to do it for some unworldly reason. Now, from my understanding, the whole point of YouTube is to post whenever you feel like posting, not to the accord of someone else, because this is technically my channel, and I can do whatever I please. So as far as I am aware of, there's probably not going to be any more content this year unless I really feel like making something. Now, if you want to interact with me, you can go to my Twitter or just comment on any of my videos. I'll still be active on social media sites like that. So until we meet again, I'll see you all around.